And your host for the evening, James Pineapple Esquire. Let's hear it for Bill.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight. What we hope to have here is a celebration of Bill's work, his life, with a lot of laughs. I hope you sit back and get ready for anything these friends of Bill can come up with, because it could get pretty, well, Epstein's not here tonight, so it might be pretty fucking tame after all. Bill and I shared a passion for comedy. As far back as I've known Bill, we always had this argument about who was the greatest comedian that ever lived. I said it was Groucho Marx, and Bill picked Charlie Chaplin. And one day, Bill went to see the movie Chaplin, starring Robert Downey Jr., and I thought I had him solid this time. I said, Bill, what'd you think of the movie? He said, but I think Downey did a pretty good job as Chaplin. I say, okay, there you have it. If Robert Downey Jr. can do Chaplin, how great is he? Case fucking closed. You don't see people going around doing Groucho Marx movies, huh? There's a reason for it. And of course, the great irony about this ridiculous argument we've had for 15 years is I was having the fight with the greatest comedian that ever lived. Thank you very much. Bill did exactly what his soul told him to do at all times. Watching Bill work on stage was the equivalent of watching Fred Astaire dance, like listening to Charlie Parker's rendition of April in Paris, or like reading a poem by Arthur Rimbaud. Bill, what you'll be seeing here tonight with these clips and reminiscence of Bill and watching him work, is a man and his art on his own terms. There's nothing more beautiful than that. So sit back and enjoy your evening. First of all, we have a clip from Bill's brother Steve, who couldn't be here tonight. Steve used to live in Austin. He recently moved. He would very much like to be here. He couldn't make it in the physical flesh, so he sent a tape. So this is Big Brother's Steve Hicks. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody in Austin. I'm Bill's brother Steve. I used to always watch every show when he was performing there at the Laugh Stop. I couldn't be there this time, unfortunately. I'm out in Las Vegas as you're watching this for work, and it's just something I couldn't get out of. You know, the last time I was in Las Vegas, I was out there with Bill, and it was really kind of funny. I was wandering around. I love to gamble. That doesn't mean I'm very good at it, but I do like to do it. And I was wandering around. I'd lost all my money, wandering around in the lobby of the Tropicana Hotel with a credit card in my hand, looking for one of those slot machines that take credit cards. And as I was wandering about 3 in the morning, Bill came down, I guess to get something to eat, and he saw me and he grabbed me by the arm and he said, man, go to bed. Go to bed now. You don't need to be doing that. So he took me up to bed, and I closed the door and then snuck back down and went to my limit on the credit card. Thanks, Bill. Anyway, Bill used to love it down here in Austin. Wherever he did live, he always considered it his second home here and came several times a year. He always spent every Christmas here at my house with my family, and my parents would come down from Arkansas and my sister from Fort Worth, and we'd all have a good Christmas out at our house here in Austin, even up till the last one, December of '93. And Kevin, wherever you are out in the audience, Kevin, he was there that night, and it was a pretty amazing evening, Christmas Eve. And I guess that's it. Thank you all for coming. I know that everyone in my family really appreciates the continued support and interest in Bill and what he had to offer and what he had to say. And on behalf of my family, I want to thank everyone. I hope you all enjoy the rest of the show. And I still have a little bit of limit left on my MasterCard. I'm going to the slot machine. See ya. Bye.
Steve Hicks, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the next guest we have coming on, I have to read the intro because I used to have this little drinking problem, and I don't remember shit. An Austin musician, Stephen Doster's coming on the stage, one of Bill's best friends. Bill loved his music, loved his work. Steven's going to come out and do a song he wrote especially for tonight. But he wanted me to read this. This is kind of like Steve's, how he feels about Bill. This is not what I think, because I didn't like Bill at all. And I don't know why musicians can't say their own shit, unless it rhymes or something, I don't know. At least he's an Austin guy. There was some, you know, LA act, I'd have to lip sync his fucking song for him. All right, I'll be just a second, Steven. This is Steven talking, not me. Bill Hicks was the funniest, hippest, gay guy. No, wait. The funniest, hippest guy I ever met. A great friend, a brilliant artist, an extraordinary man, transcendental and timeless. That's what Steve Doster thinks about Bill Hicks. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Doster. Used to headline on the fucking roadie.
It's great to be here tonight. Thank you. This is Michael Ramos. He's going to play with me. I thought this is real nice. Put the weeping boy up first. We are not a comedy act that uses props, folks. We're not the devil's little helpers. I wrote this song when I got back from Little Rock. I was pretty much a basket case when I did this. But I did this, there was something that Bill said to Kevin, probably the last time he talked to Kevin Booth, and wasn't that a beautiful video, the first thing that Kevin did? All I gotta say is it's a good thing I don't wear mascara. But what he said was Kevin wanted to go up and be with Bill when things started getting pretty tough, and Bill wouldn't have anything to do with it, and he told Kevin to go to the mountains. Go to the mountains, have an adventure, embrace the day, have an adventure, because everything else is bullshit. There is no time.
Remember those days. I don't, so meet me in the back and remind me about it. Bill Hicks, the early years.
A little bit about myself. I went to the University of Houston for about 3 weeks, got my degree, and always wondered what's that extra week worth the doctorate, but I never came to grips with it. Got a great school. I failed out of U of H, so to be honest with you, and I'm embarrassed to say, Cougar High, and I couldn't hack this shit. But I could not wake up for the 8 o'clock class. You know that feeling at all? Shit, I was going to night school. It looked bad. My dad was so upset, he sends me a rooster through UPS. He lives on a farm. Now what's your excuse, Buster? Got in a lot of trouble trying to get rid of that thing. Apparently I called up Herman Park. Tried to donate my cock to the children's petting section. They put me on hold. The vice squad burst through my door. I was standing there in my underwear with a rooster. I said, what? No, don't even burden your mind with that. No, I was good with all others. I'm not in a college rivalry. My brother went to A&M. My sister went to UT. Can't imagine how tired I got over the dinner table whenever they were together. Of hearing, giggle, 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 fuck 'em, pass the peas. I mean, I'm trying to eat here. Here, can I bum a cigarette from you? Sorry, I left mine in the machine and Remember Mom Logic growing up? Mom Logic? You can't use the car tonight, you used it last night. Kid, I won't go to school today, I went yesterday, right, Mom? Come on, you want to spar with me here a little bit? Another one of my mom's great techniques, she's out watering the lawn. Car goes by kind of quick on the residential street, she sprays the windshield with water. You slow down, you're gonna hurt a car. It's great. Car swerves, goes through a dining room window. Family of 5 dead at breakfast. Now they're trying to help the community. So proud. I love that, going home. A big turkey dinner. Boy, I don't eat that well all year long. Sitting there eating dinner, my mom starts telling me about relatives I don't know that have cancer and leprosy. Moms love to fill you in, don't they? Bill, guess what? Shit, I'm afraid to ask. Your Aunt Bessie has died and gone to be with Jesus. That's kind of presumptuous. You remember your Aunt Bessie, don't you? She's the one with the slab under her arms that would slap you when she hugged you. Well, she had a cyst on her nose and had 3 big black hairs springing out of it. And the doctors thought she was in remission. Well, they went camping last weekend and she just started to swing on her hairs, jumping into the creek. You know how that be. And the cyst started to swell like a melon and it got just huge and purple and Buzz didn't know what to do. He finally had to lay us with a tent peg just to relieve the pressure. Bill, eat your cranberry sauce. You look so pale. I'm full, Mom. Thank you, though. Yeah, I won't be wanting to eat for a long time now.
Bill Hicks, Comedy Workshop Annex, Houston, Texas. It's kind of like being at the Annex again. You get that feeling? Are your drinks watered down? I don't think Bill was paid for that spot either. That's just like the Comedy Workshop Annex. Our next guest, very good friend of Bill's. He lived with Bill in Los Angeles. Was back there at the Comedy Workshop Annex those years, the early years. Been a true friend of Bill. Bill really loved this guy, admired his comedy also. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend also, Andy Huggins.
Thank you. Just to keep you updated, I just got off the phone with Steve Epstein. He's in Los Angeles. For some reason, he thought we meant Bill Bixby. He's very upset because he wrote a song parody called My Favorite Putts. So it's got nothing to do with it now. It was always a pleasure to perform with Bill, particularly in Austin. The last time we were together in Austin, it was what became after the workshop closed. I forget the name. JT, what? Because you were involved in that somehow, the commissioner. What was it called after the workshop? Comedy Central. It was Jimmy, Bill, and I. Give you an idea how long ago it was. The 3 of us were still drinking. Exactly. We got stiffed on our salary. On the other hand, we walked our bar tab, which still makes it to date the highest paying gig I've ever had. So The highlight of that week, if I'm not mistaken, we went and saw Fatal Attraction. Jimmy, Bill, and I. I don't know if you know aware of this or not, but Bill was the technical consultant on that film when it came to lunatic females. You remember when Glenn Close was clicking on the light? On, off, Bill gone Bush League. I've seen worse. Bill, quite often was compared to Lenny Bruce, and I found that interesting for one particular reason, because to me, both Lenny Bruce and Bill were misunderstood. A lot of people would categorize both of them as cynics, when in fact the opposite was true. I don't think it's cynicism to recognize cynicism in others. Bill was a romantic, and what he resented and was offended by deeply was the contempt that the power structure, as represented by the government and television and advertising people, the contempt that they showed for all of us. There's a great quote from Lenny Bruce. He said, if you took away all the fear in the world, I'd be in the unemployment line, right behind J. Edgar Hoover. And I think Bill would have been happy if his particular point of view was irrelevant, but unfortunately it was relevant. Fortunately for us, we had Bill to present that point of view on our behalf. I was trying to think of a particularly funny story about Bill, but whenever I think of Bill, I think of what a genuinely great friend Bill was. And he was the best sort of friend because he believed in his friends. He believed in his friends' potential and what we all could accomplish. And as a matter of fact, Bill believed in all of y'all, the people who weren't his friends. He still believed in the wonderful potential of the human race. And I believe in Bill Hicks. Except for those goddamn Sylvester Stallone movies he was so fond of. He would drag me to, he even took me, Jimmy and Bill kidnapped me to see Action Jackson, for Christ's sake. A Sylvester Stallone movie without Sylvester Stallone. Bill was not without his perverse side. Now, I don't know, this is a last minute deal, but I was told that we have a special guest here who's not on the program, but is he? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know him, but a comic, Rick. Give Rick a round of applause, I think. Rick from Baytown.
Rick from Baytown. God damn it, man. We need a union man up here to undo this thing. Hey, Jimmy, I got a new duty for you, buddy. You just all around. You're the Triple Crown winner. God.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead, wild man.
Yes, you
Knock
can.
yourself out.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
work
can.
on that one. I'll get over here.
Oh, okay.
All right, I can't stand on this side.
You need to be working with Andy Henson. Here you go. Here, why don't you take this one, and I'll take that out.
I got it.
There you go, Rick from Baytown, ladies and gentlemen. He does it all.
Man, it was a scorcher and a barn burner there for a minute. How y'all doing, Wills?
How are you doing, Rick?
Oh, man, I'm sans a cigarette, brother. I need one bad.
Well, I'm running kind of low, and things being how they are, no offense, but
Forget about
I've
it.
lent you too many cigarettes.
I'll just smoke one of my own, then. What the hell, man?
What do you got there?
You're misty, huh?
Oh,
now you see why I didn't want to pull
Misty,
this out.
Misty, very impressive.
Yeah, I pulled the wrong lever in the machine. Thank you very much. Grabbed the wrong knob.
I got a feeling you've been grabbing a lot of wrong knobs here if you're smoking Misties.
On this most auspicious of all occasions, you got to take it right into the gutter, man. Just grab a big joke right there.
Okay. Well, Rick, now, it's always a pleasure to see you, but I'm a little at a loss as to why you're here, because, you know, you and Bill weren't particularly
Weren't what?
close.
Me and Bill were best of buddies.
No, you weren't.
Tight, man, like Starsky and Hutch.
Really? See,
You never saw us apart hardly at all. Unless I was there and Bill wasn't, or vice versa. But other time,
and you know, damn the luck,
like
those were
Siamese twins, buddy.
Yeah, damn the luck, those were always the times I
You
were.
didn't know me and Bill grew up together?
No, you're about 15 years older than Bill.
Yeah, I got left back a few times.
I guess so.
School's real political, man. It's not what you know, it's who you know. That's
I see. So you're a victim of politics.
Man, apparently he knew the principal. I didn't know shit.
Okay. So you and Bill went to grade school
Yeah,
together?
we used to start a comedy together. We'd sneak out of our parents' house and shimmy down the drain pipe. You ever shimmy?
No, like my sister Kate? No.
Get on their bikes and pedal up to the comedy workshop in Houston. Our cherubish faces cutting a swath through the winds of indifference.
Okay, look, Rick, I happen to know for a fact that that wasn't you. That was Bill's close childhood friend, Dwight Slade.
Oh, no, that was me. That was me.
Was Dwight.
No, Dwight was just this kid we let hang around, you know.
Oh, I see.
He would go get us beer and Benzedrine when we were trying to lose weight, you know.
This was in grade school?
Well, junior high, actually.
Yeah, I see.
You couldn't get Benzedrine in grade school.
Oh,
The doctor
no.
wouldn't prescribe it yet.
Oh, okay.
And we go, you know, get that girl on table 8, bring her back to the room. That kind of thing we let Dwight
that
do.
was Dwight. Okay.
Yeah, that was when me and Bill were in our Fox comedy team.
Fox?
Fox, French for fake, F-A-U-X.
Faux.
Faux to you too, buddy.
Okay.
We had a comedy team. It was kind of a fake team called Stop and Go.
Stop and go. Well, now, wait a second. I have...
And then, you know, Bill was going through his relationship, so he'd always call me up. Hey, Rick, buddy, what do I do about this girl? What do I do about that girl?
Okay, now see...
Because I'm a master of love.
You've blundered into an area of Bill's life that I happen to know. Stop and Go was Bill and Jimmy Pineapple. You know who Bill used to call when he needed advice about women? Jimmy Pineapple.
No, it was me. It's just another case of say a lie so many times people start to believe it, man.
No,
Jimmy Pineapple just sucking the life right out of me, man.
Jimmy Pineapple?
You never noticed how similar his stage persona is to mine?
No.
My original one.
Your original.
Rick Plum.
Jimmy Pineapple.
Skank.
Okay, so I feel real disheartened. I don't believe a word of it, but...
It didn't bother me. Jimmy's here, and I want to hurt his feelings. Jimmy, take all you want from me. Our career paths never crossed. I don't work those Louisiana routes. Everybody got that.
What's this?
That's a secret signal. Everybody got what I was doing there.
Okay.
I nailed old Jimmy. In fact, I'm going to let off a strut.
Hey, what are you...
I named Jimmy good there.
No strutting. No strutting.
Right. It's a solemn occasion.
That's right. It was very unattractive.
Yes,
well, this is the very, as I started to say, disheartening news. I mean, geez, evidently Dwight Slade is claiming credit for something you did. Jimmy's ripping you off wholesale. This is awful.
So you're going to mention how Bill stole from me. Hey, don't bring it up
I'm
tonight of all night.
No.
I pleaded with you. Don't say that Bill stole my act.
If Bill didn't steal your act, that's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
He didn't?
He didn't.
Okay, you remember Bill's album, Sane Man?
Very well, very
Comes
funny.
out 2 months after my album, Rational Rick, hits the stand.
Well, look.
Sane Man, Rational Rick, you don't see that similarity?
Look, yeah, look, Rational. Those are just album titles, comedy titles. It could have been a coincidence.
How about Pure Bits?
Bits?
Jimi Hendrix, and Debbie Gibson.
Very funny bit of Bill.
Apparently you never heard my Sly Stone butt plug and Dee Dee Con bit.
No, I missed that.
Stand, it's the truth that the truth makes you so uptight. Stand, different strokes for different. Go.
The one night Sly Stone does show up. Look, no strutting. No strutting. I'm not going to tell you again.
Boy, the musician broke the mic, man, not me, that's for sure.
Well, see, I got to tell you.
How about his famous bits? Fucking the devil.
Sucking the devil's cock. He stole that.
Licking Lucifer's love knob. Am I the only one here that knows this?
I'm guessing you probably are. Look, I know how Bill felt. People used to steal from Bill, and I know how he felt about
Call me
Peter.
up and complain about it all the time.
Well, he called you up and complained.
I'd give him the same piece of advice my daddy would give me when I told him about people stealing from me.
And what was that?
My daddy said, well, Rick, well, Holly Shore's a thief, and Dennis Leary's a thief. Well, tell me, Rick, who's the real thief?
That was your dad.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
he called
okay.
me Bill, too,
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah,
did.
yeah.
That was
Well,
good.
who is the real thief here, Rick?
You'll see when my new album comes out.
You got another album coming out.
Rick in Asia Minor. It's about my Vietnam experience.
Yeah, so
it's
now-
a double album set.
Oh,
Coming out with another title, too.
and that might be.
Arizona Baytown.
Okay.
Those are Rick's new albums coming out.
Rick, this is a tribute to Bill. Now, I know you mean well, but so far you've kind of besmirched. Now, didn't Bill ever give?
Oh,
I mean,
I'm
evidently
not
old
come up
Bill
here
was.
to besmirch Bill at all. I wanted to talk about the positive things he did for me. Numero uno on my list.
What's numero?
Got me into AA. But
Not a moment too soon. That was a.
got me into AAA too, which saves me a lot on car repairs too. I'm damn glad of that.
Look, I have to, in a serious moment, it was good that both of y'all ended up there, and Bill.
Oh, Alcoholics Anonymous, best thing that ever happened to me. I still go out in Hollywood where I live.
You live out in Hollywood and you go there. Well, there are a lot of meetings.
Celebrity galore.
Well, there are a lot of
You know
meetings.
who come to my meeting every day?
I don't want to know.
Rod Steiger, man, oh man, could he
Rick.
put it away? I'm telling you,
Rick.
the tattooed man. that was a hell of a-
Rick. Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, anonymous
Anonymous.
means
That-
not known, identity unknown.
You just said the man's name.
That's right. You know who gives me a ride home every day?
I don't want to know who it
Ed Kooky Bird.
is. Rick.
Kooky, lend me your comb.
Rick.
Kooky, 77 Sunset Strip. Yeah.
Hey, Rick. Now, at a meeting, did they ever explain to you Alcoholics Anonymous? Anonymous. You're not
From
supposed
the Latin root, anom, meaning identity unknown.
well,
Corey
exactly.
Feldman brings donuts every day. I swear.
Okay, Rick.
You know,
Rick.
heroin addicts get a sweet tooth, so he brings in big jelly
Okay.
filled kind. You just dip your old pinky in.
Rick.
Corey, shoot up,
Rick. Rick. I'm going to go through this one time. Anonymous, you're not supposed to give away people's identity. Now, I go to the meetings. The most that they might say at a meeting, first name, last initial. That's it. That's to protect people's identity.
Yeah, we do that. Our chapter president gave a big speech on anonymity being important to an alcoholic's recovery.
Well, evidently it didn't take.
You know who our chapter president is, buddy?
I don't want to.
I'm not going to say it. I'll just say the first name, last initial.
Okay.
Zsa Zsa G.
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
How'd you know it was Zsa Zsa Gabor?
I don't.
God, I bet that damn Ringo West told you. That son of a bitch is always blabbing. Him and that Kenny G just can't shut up.
Okay.
And I want to say support the cause here that, you know, which Bill stole from me. I used to have a ecological preservation cause.
Yeah, oh, really?
Free a ferret.
Free affair.
Yeah. Oh, here in Austin it's called Catch and Release It Dilla, but it was mine.
Okay. Well, Rick, I think I'm going to go buy that back and buy you a club soda. How's that?
I'll do that, buddy.
Okay, Rick from Baytown.
Thank y'all very much. Thanks for coming. Good night.
Known to his friends as Riley Barber. Thank you.
Randy Huggins, Riley Barber, ladies. You seem to be staring in disbelief at Andy when he was talking about Bill lunatic girlfriends. I got a story for you. Yes, one of Bill's queen lunatics. Hey, I'm not making this up. You judge. This wonderful young lady, one day, stabbed Bill in the neck with a fork. And like every true lunatic, now I swear, Bill's done some great lines in his career, but the best I've ever heard was never said on stage. I try to get him to do this, but I swear this happened. Like every true lunatic, she came back and started crying and bubbling. Oh, I only did it because I loved you. Bill said, if you really loved me, you would have used a spoon. True story. That's my friend Bill Hicks. Our next segment is, this is a treat. This is a preview of the pilot that Bill did for the show in England. It was done with his friend Fallon Woodland, who's the other half of the Counts of the Netherworld. It was commissioned by the English Channel 4. They were to tape this past April. All that remains is a pilot they taped here 2 years ago in Austin. So here's the Counts of the Netherworld.
I think it's my God-given right to own guns. It's my God. God is God. It says in the Bible, Luke 5:7, that all good Christian white man should be allowed to hunt squirrels and beaver in case they need to not have a job per se and have to buy squirrel or beaver meat at the market. And in that case, the good Christian white man is allowed to run amok. It's all in Luke 7:53, which Luke wrote, and Luke is out in the truck right now, filling the tires up. They keep going down unless Luke holds the hose in the tire, and it works. Only thing is we can only drive in circles around the hose thing. So we've been doing that all day, and it's hard to get a job when you have to do that. But it says in Luke 3 that God said you must have a shotgun or some type of pellet emitting. I think in the Bible, of course, guns weren't invented then. I think it was a pellet emitting tube.
Which
pellet emitting tube.
It was just
pellet emitting tube.
An updated slingshot. It was yeah, because that's what they did.
And I don't know. This is I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but you know that Jesus in the Bible, okay, in the Bible, Luke, how's the truck? All right. Now we have to worry about running out of gas. He's just doing circles around with the hose stuck in the tire. In the Bible, Jesus goes up to like 5 or 7 years old, right?
Yeah,
and then there's nothing about him.
No.
Right? Am I right?
Right.
Until he's 30 years old.
Right.
Now, where was he in that time? Where was he?
Camp.
Huh? No.
Where?
Good, but no.
Where?
Squirrel hunting with my great-grandfather. I swear to God.
Jesus was a squirrel hunter?
He went down. He was at camp. It was a squirrel hunting camp. And Granddaddy had said this guy, foreign guy, but he liked him, took a liking to him. And he took him and he said, one day they were squirrel hunting, and Daddy doesn't get involved personally that, quickly, but he's kind of shy and reserved, but he said one day, what's your name? And the guy said, I am Jesus. I am a fisher of men and a hunter of squirrels. And they lived in Alabama since Jesus was 7 to 30, and my dad, my great-granddad, taught him how to trap and hunt squirrel and avoid the police, because my granddad also did some moonshining, which Jesus showed him how to do, turn water into moonshine. And that's really what happened, and that's why Jesus is, considered a Christian white man with a beer gut or a moonshine gut.
Well, we don't get to do that show, Life Isn't Fair, but that's okay. If life was fair, T-Shawn would have stabbed her in the heart while she slept and saved us from the coming fall lineup. Life isn't fair. It's nice to play to just two people. Man, you all, I guess, know Bill as a performer, and I keep forgetting that Bill was a performer because he was my friend. I mean, we talked every night for hours. I mean, our phone bills were larger than my rent. So eventually, I introduced him to MCI Friends and Family, and he introduced me to the comedy of Conrad Lawrence. Life isn't fair. I understand Friends and Family. Oh, you think I'm doing a plug for MCI or something, like I'm getting money from them? No, they're very nosy. I would never do a plug for them. I added this woman in Boston to my MCI, the plant, and they're very nosy. What is she? What do you mean? And they go, what is she, friend or family? Well, neither one. I'm just stalking her. Lord. Offended you ask. Friend family stalker program, perhaps. I could run up some minutes on that. So, Bill would give me advice about relationships while I'm alone. And I'd give him stalking tips. He'd drive by an old girlfriend's house, and he'd call, and he'd go, man, she saw me. I'm busted. Well, then I'd say, calm down, Bill. Was it daylight? Was it night?
which side of the car were you on? What was the available light? And eventually, I'd calm him down, and he realized he wasn't busted. And we were even going to start a show called Stock Talk. Now, I know a lot of people are very, very intimidated. They don't like the stalking. I don't know, stalking, really. When did it get such a bad name? Used to just be called driving by our fucking house. It's not right. And it's not fair either, because and Bill and I would discuss this, of course, the unfairness in it. Women, you can call us in the middle of the night crying and everything. We call you in the middle of the night crying, and we get a restraining order. And it's kind of tough to have a romance, beyond 1,000 feet. And women, you're a little. Can you see? Bill and I had some of the same attitudes. You're fond of stalking. The movie Sleepless in Seattle. That was about stalking, but you don't think so, because it was Meg Ryan. And it was so cute. But she's stalking the guy. Tom Hanks, she's following him around. It all depends on the background music. Creepy music, it's stalking. Harry fucking Connick, it's a romance. It's not fair. So Bill and I would talk about relationships all night long. We were like two 8th grade boys talking about girls. I mean, pretty much like 8th grade Ted Bundys, perhaps. There was a man of vision. But anyway, that's another show. And but my God, the relationship that Bill and I had, we discussed our relationships. We had these never-ending things that was just, and Bill eventually did find someone like this. That's the only thing I really miss about Bill, is the fact that we were on the phone every night. Life isn't fair. It really isn't. And it's just too bad that, like, when I go back to the hotel tonight, there's not going to be a red light flashing going, call Willie. That's very sad, and I miss that. And those of you, he was my dearest friend. And someone I love very much this weekend asked me about coming down here, and she was asking me about Bill because she doesn't know where she stands spiritually on things. And she just said, "Do you think Bill really is somewhere?" And I went, "Yeah, he's in my heart." And some people think that's presumptuous. They think that's a place reserved for Jesus. Why don't you talk to him? But Jesus doesn't know the turtle trick in Mario Brothers. So I talked to Bill, and man, I really miss him. But, and like I said, life isn't fair, but that's okay. And as a matter of fact, one of the proudest things in my life really is that I was Bill Hicks' friend. And that was a hard thing, as I knew that Bill was dying. I had a hard time resolving that past tense issue, going, well, I just couldn't bring myself to go, well, I knew someday I'd have to say I loved Bill, but I haven't had to. Bill was my best friend. Bill is my best friend. And man, I love you, Willie. And you guys, I'm just glad to be here and be part of this night. And we talked about everything. We talked about all these shows. The next clips that are coming up, these are some of the things we talked about. After every Letterman show, we talk. After his HBO One Night Stand, we talk. Both of those clips are coming up here. We didn't talk to critique. We just talked because we were great, great friends. So please, it's just great to introduce my friend again. Here's one of the Letterman clips and the HBO clip. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend Bill Hicks.
Our next guest is a very intense and very funny young man who has been on this program a number of times, and he's back again tonight. He has his own HBO One Night Stand program, which premieres this Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bill Hicks. Bill!
Thank you. Good evening. It's great to be back. How are you doing? Good. Lots happened since I've been here. The war, very stressful for me. I was in the unenviable position of being for the war, but against the troops. And it's just immoral. All those men living together in little tents. Surprised more of y'all didn't speak out against that. I think the most amazing thing about the war was the disparity in the casualties. They had Iraq 100,000, we had 79. Does that mean if we had sent over 80 guys, we still would have won this thing, or what? One guy in a ticker tape parade. I did it, hey. Good work, Tommy, no biggie. I feel totally taken by the media, too, trying to build it all up. You know what I mean? Iraq, the 4th largest army in the world. Yeah, well, after the first 3 largest armies, there's a real big drop-off. The Hare Krishnas are the 5th largest army in the world, and they've already got our airports. I am the 6th largest army in the world. To give you a perspective. Too much violence in the world, man. I was over in England. You know, in England, no one has handguns, not even the cops. And in England last year, they had 14 deaths from handguns. Now, in the United States, I think you know how we feel about guns. Whew, I'm getting a warm, tingly feeling just saying the word. 27,000 deaths from handguns. Let's go through those numbers again. England, no handguns, 14 deaths. United States, 27,000 deaths. But there's no connection. And you'd be a fool and a communist to make one. But admittedly, in England last year, they had 27,000 deaths per soccer game, okay? Not saying every system is flawless. You know, it's weird, they have a very high crime rate, and yet no guns. How does that work, you know? Guy goes into a bank, all the money now, I've got a soccer ball. Ian, that's a Spalding, he's serious. It's too much violence. I was down south recently working. I'm not proud of it. I got to make rent. And I'm down there working in this town called Fife, Alabama. And in this town, last year in Fife, Alabama, they had all these UFO sightings. And I'm down there, so I asked people what it was like, you know. And they said, well, it was incredible. People came from miles around to look at them. A lot of people showed up armed. What? They're bringing shotguns to UFO sightings, man. Kind of brings whole new meaning to that phrase. You ain't from around here, are you, boy? Yep, they're little green people. We call them boogers. So I asked the guy, I said, why do y'all bring shotguns to UFO sightings? He said, well, we don't want to be abducted. Thinking, yeah, and leave all this. I said, man, if I lived in this town, I'd be on my hands and knees every day praying for abduction, all right? I wouldn't be picky. Greyhound, abduct me. I said, what do you mean abducted? And he said, well, they abduct people and perform scientific and medical experiments on them. Yeah, well, maybe you'll be lucky and it's some type of sterility dentistry program. Well, maybe they come down here, castrate you, straighten your teeth, and split. We're going to clean up the universe pact. I'm telling you, that's starting to bug me about UFOs, too. The fact that they travel millions of miles to visit us and go to Fife, Alabama. Maybe these are not super intelligent beings. Maybe they're hillbilly aliens. Some intergalactic Jode family. Don't y'all want to land in New York or L.A.? Nah, we just had a long trip. We want to kick back and whittle some. Oh my God, they're idiots. Last thing I want to see is a flying saucer up on blocks in front of a trailer. Some bumper sticker on it. They'll get my ray gun when they pry my cold dead 18-fingered hand off of it. Thank you.
Bill Hicks. Yes, sir. I have a confession to make. That Fallon thing, I don't have a fucking thing to do with that. I don't even know who that guy is. He was just parked out in front of my house in a 71 Ford Torino for about 3 weeks. He wouldn't leave until I let him on stage. So I don't know anything about that. Goes back to that stalking. Never mind. Sometimes you people. But I want to say, I don't know if you realize just what a tremendous feat Bill is accomplishing here. For he to get house flashed like he's getting from a fucking tape, that proves what a fucking genius he is. Because you people, I can tell, are really enjoying yourself. Watching a tape. Most of the shit acts they book here can't get that live. Okay! Sorry about that. I'm one of those shit acts, so... Our next performer brings out the old napkin again. Is Wanda 627. No. This next guy's name was on the back of 2 of Bill's albums. That's twice as many as Fallon. Ladies and gentlemen, John Fernetti.
Hey, Jimmy Pineapple. A lot of talk about Bill and girls. I knew him back when he could be very, very insecure about love. Remember, during one of his longer relationships, he'd come back to his apartment every night after his date, sit on the floor and hold a flower in one hand and pluck off the petals with another. She hates me, she's jacking me around. She hates me, she's jacking me around. He could be quite the romantic in his own way. When he was 18 and first went to Hollywood, he said his dream was to have a date with Linda Blair. He said, what would be really neat about the girl from The Exorcist is you could kiss her on the mouth while you take her up the ass. Yeah, he was 18. Okay. As his career grew, he needed an attorney, and he said, I want Mike Tyson's lawyer. So why would you want Mike Tyson's lawyer? He said that brilliant argument when he said, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, why would a man of my client's wealth, of my client's fame, bother to rape anybody when all he needs to do to have sex is grab a woman, hold her down, and fuck her? He was 32. Dylan Thomas wrote, do not go gentle into that good night, but rage, rage against the dying light. And Dylan Thomas died a drunk. Bill Hicks, February of this year, said to me, John, you know everything that happens is right. And Bill died long since sober. So it was Dylan Thomas, drunk, rage, Bill Hicks, sober, gentle. Jesus Christ, if that's not a lesson, what the hell is, right? For you bitter drunks, anyway. Us mellow addicts, we'll get by. Stevie Ray Vaughan's big brother Jimmy said, when somebody in your family whom you love dies, it changes everything. It changes the color of the sky. Whoa. First couple hours after I read that, I had a hard time sitting up straight. Then I remembered that the sky, like everything else, changes constantly. And everything we see used to be something else. Bill used to be something else. Before he joined the program, I went to one of his no-room apartments one time. And we were hungry for adventure, so we ordered a large mushroom pizza. Apparently, he misdialed. Instead of getting Domino's, he got Timothy Leary's place. One large mushroom pizza, hold the pizza. Because after we ate it, we spent the next 11 hours taking turns sliding off this really neat chair he had. We agreed wholeheartedly that if the chair could play guitar, it would sound just like Pat Metheny. Inevitably came the suggestion, let's go for a walk in the park, man. And as we headed gentle out into the great night, Bill, going through the doorway in one fluid and simultaneous motion and moment, picked up and put a large globe under his arm and said, in case we get lost. Lots of laughter. He wasn't shy about the truth. One time he joined a group of people who were pen pals for prisoners. Bill wrote only to guys on death row. Not, as he pointed out, because he had any particular compassion for people on death row. He just didn't want to give his address to anybody who might get out. What do you think? And lastly, one of my favorite Bill routines, which he only did on stage a few times, was one morning he woke up, and there in the baseboard was a stereotype mouse hole. right at the wall, right on the base, a mouse hole. And Bill decided he would be creative, so to get rid of the mouse, he painted next to the hole a picture of a cat. And he went to the club and he came back, and there next to the cat was a painting of a ferocious dog. And he knew he wasn't dealing with any ordinary mouse, so next to the dog, Bill painted a picture of a car running over the dog. And he went on the road and he came back, and the car had 4 flat tires and his hood was painted up. And Bill finally got him, stepped on the mouse coming out of a paint store. And as Baba Mark Wiltshire might say, isn't that what life really is? A paint store? Thanks a lot. Good night. Thanks for coming.
John Fornetti. John Fornetti. This next segment coming up, Austin fans may recognize this. This was a big seller at the Austin video stores. Ninja Bachelor Party. How many people remember Ninja Bachelor Party? Well, we picked selected scenes, and I want to just kind of preface this with one thing so you're not confused. At the beginning, you see actually Kevin's mom is playing Clarence's mom. Okay. She's sitting there. Actually, it's like Kevin's mom is channeling Bill's mom, channeling Bill, or something like that. Because Bill is dubbing through all the people talking. So, but you'll get what. Trust me. 3 people are being channeled by Bill's mom, I think. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Ninja Bachelor Party.
It's here and it's here to stay. It's come a long, long way. The ultimate karate movie you've been waiting for. Violence, mayhem, front kick, side kick, key-up, and decibels you will not believe. The film was very costly, so we're going to ask you to pay close attention, because let me tell you something, the action is so quick the camera failed to get it. You're going to love it. Pinch yourself. You're not dreaming. It's for real. It's come down, and don't be the last one to see it. Bring the kids, but put your hand over their little eyes. Oh, it's got it all. You've dreamed about it. Everything you need, you want, it's now yours for the taking. And check out those babes. More babes! Everything you need to know about gouging out your opponent's eyeballs! It's got it all! Ninja Bachelor Party! Due to the cost of oil, due to the Persian Gulf, this movie's on sale at a special price.
Morning, Dad. Morning, Mom.
Clarence, what's that bandage on your hand? What did you do to your hand, baby?
I think I just slept on it wrong.
Oh, that's a bunch of fluey. He's up there practicing that karate.
Well, speaking of karate, I have real high hopes upon becoming a ninja warrior.
Sweet lamb.
No, really, I think it would be a fine career for me.
I wish I was never born to hear the words that are spewing out of my son's mouth at this breakfast table this morning.
Good one. First of all, son, there is no market for being a ninja. Look at the index. They're down 0.10 and 20% this year, down 2% from last year.
Good one, Buzz. You tell him the truth, and you tell him loud and clear. First of all, son, I am so disappointed in you, and I'm hurting bad. If my ears could bleed, they would bleed blood.
And I'll be there to swab them up and blame you, my son.
Blood would spout out of my ears like a plasma sprinkler, and I would water the earth with my own dissatisfaction.
Good one, woman. Speak. Hold nothing back on your offspring.
And on that day, the world would rise full of blood, and there would be only me, an empty carcass, floating, thinking about the son that disappointed me so.
Ninja warrior, of all the fluey, of all the hoo-la-la. Must be the Robitussin talking, because this doesn't sound right to me.
Son, I'm worried about you. You've been drinking that Robitussin, and your cough was 13 years ago. I rue the day that I was born, that I gave you that cough syrup for which to overcome that itchiness in your throat. Little did I know that it would become a way of life that would spin you out of control like some kind of narcoleptic demon. I just rue the day.
A murder at our table this morning. A murder of all hope and dreams.
What's wrong with my baby? What's wrong with my baby? What's wrong with my baby?
Oh, Lord, my mush is cold.
Man, you were hot out there today. Woo! Who's teaching who?
What's that, master?
These are magic mushrooms. They will be the second part of your training. There's more to this than kicking and screaming and punching. Yeah.
Okay.
Suck on this and let's go inside your mind and see what's exists in that little head of yours, Clarence. Smoke them deep. Pull them in and hold it.
I once was a bad man until I saw the light. Ever since I met you, I've no desire to fight. Yes, you are the one, babe, the one who opened up my heart.
Oh my God!
Oh, Mom-Bird, is that a smoke bomb? That's my new carpet. What do you mean by coming in here and interrupting me with your girlfriend? The new love of my life, old what's her name? Oh, you gotta be out of your mind, buddy. Let's do it, toe-to-toe, me and you. Come on, Mom-Bird, you haven't seen my training really in action yet. Oh, where did you learn that? Oh, you are good. Oh, Mother, jiggers, Mother, ow, they're in my game.
Oh, God, I can't believe I'm getting this. I cannot believe this guy, man. A Robitussin addict, of all things. Oh, God, some kind of poor drug addict chasing me down in the street like an animal. Some kind of pathetic, addicted person. Where are my cigarettes? Where are my cigarettes? Oh, God, he's pretty tough. Okay, just chill out. I think I lost him now. All we do is get another plane out of here. We sell the dojo, head back to Korea, and then we're all right? Everything's cool. Oh, man.
Oh, dude! Tingling's gone from my throat! I hope you've learned something from this story, because I've learned a ton, and just living through it has been a miracle. I'm kidding you. Remember, love is all there is, and don't talk of it. Let's show each other love.
The producers of Ninja Bachelor Party 1 would like to humbly beg your forgiveness for our continued efforts to film and document the never-ending saga of Clarence Mumford. In part 3, Clarence is falling upon a hard time, and his worst nightmare is about to come true. He's hit the Robitussin pretty heavily, and he's contemplating suicide. He only wishes he had done it, because death is really on its way. Dr. Death has been confined in Alcatraz until he realized it was a tourist attraction and he was free to go. Clarence, unbeknownst to him, the Death is stalking him like a stalker. Death will be avenged. And he's wet and he's cold, and it's so cold out there on the beach. Oh, look at his chest hair. Here comes Clarence. He answers the call like a true ninja, even though he isn't. Well, we don't understand it either. Our legal counsel has advised us to quit talking about this movie because it doesn't exist. Only this preview will ever be shown. You, the lucky viewer, can now see the only existing footage. Look at the action. That was a real axe blade. That's a bomb. Death wants to give it to Clarence. Clarence doesn't want it, but who would? Ninja Bachelor Party 3. To hell with death.
Thank you for Bill. Any true comedy event must be officially sanctioned by the Commissioner of Comedy. And here he is here to do so. Please welcome a man who also makes very good enchiladas, Johnny Torres.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now that enchiladas are bad for you. Yeah. Bill Hicks was a poet, an original thinker. Very few original thinkers these days, and he certainly was one of them. And in living in Austin here for many years, apparent that you're going to run into musicians. Of course, Mr. Steve Dostler with that brilliant song. Thank you for that, Stephen. You know, yes. Mike Ramos. Beautiful song. You know, I still run across many musicians all the time, and they always say Bill Hicks, Bill Hicks. They would always say Bill Hicks, you know, and it was true. And Bill always told me he wanted to be a poet, and he was in fact a poet of profundity rather than rhyme. And we're driving down Mopac one day on our way to a radio gig, right? You know, and he says to me, you know, Johnny, I think it's time for another strategic retirement. It was between retirements, okay? But I want to take this opportunity to thank, I don't know if it's been done yet, thank the Hicks family, and love and grace to them, and Colleen McGarr, okay? And love and grace to the Hicks family. But I first met Bill about 1982. By 1983, we were being booted out of bars, okay? Now, not just any bar, Irish bars, okay? Do you know how raucous you have to be to get kicked out of an Irish bar? Then he cleaned up and went to heaven. And he always told me, he says, you know, comic stand-ups, most of this crew here, all of this crew here, in fact, we're pretty much, we're snobs about props. We don't use props, like he said, devil's little helpers. And we were at, again, Comedy Central, mid-80s, the old, the second comedy workshop here, the one that couldn't make their bills. And we're standing in the back of the room watching a juggler, and Bill turns to me and he says, you know, Johnny, why is it that every time I see a juggler on stage, I think of somewhere in the world, there's some poor seal out of work. Bill Hicks. Oh yeah, and yes, buy one of these T-shirts. Support the Wildlife Rescue Fund. Okay, please do, because God knows we can't have enough raccoons. Okay, nothing worse than a homeless, hungry raccoon. So please buy a T-shirt. Okay. Anyway, once again, I'd like to thank James Pineapple, Esquire. James Pineapple, yeah, and the club, and ACTV. Okay, Dave Pruitt. And I want to thank you folks for coming out. Thanks a lot for supporting the cause. Thanks again. Thank you, Bill.
Johnny Torres. Our next guest was one of the promoters of one of Bill's early Austin shows, and a good friend of Bill's, Mr. David Cotton.
Yeah, let's hear it for all the outlaw comics. I don't think there would have been a Bill Hicks if there wouldn't have been for the Annex in Houston and all the all the Houston comics. They influenced so much. I mean, the history that goes on there is just incredible. So we got a lot to be thankful for. I think it's probably still going on down there. Let's see. Well, there's a lot of us that have spent a lot of time with Bill here in Austin. So I guess we're the Austin chapter of the Bill Hicks fan club, I think. Joined together maybe for the very last time. Perhaps there's another inspired artist out there that will bring us all together again. Who knows? Maybe someone inspired by Bill, just waiting to arrive on the scene. Somehow I think maybe there is. Inspiration, that was a lot of what Bill was about. We all were inspired by Bill. A good number of musicians here in Austin have been inspired by Bill over the last 10 years. There was some kind of bond between Bill and Austin music. At every Bill Hicks show, one could find at least 30 to 40 Austin musicians running around, hanging around somewhere close. I think Bill was the only comedian that made Richard Mullins ever laugh. What do you think, Richard? I know Richard had a great deal of respect for Bill. He was the only comedian I knew Richard ever went to see live, and Richard's here again tonight, one of Austin's treasures. I wonder how much inspiration and passion went into the music that Richard is involved in today that Bill inspired. Let's see, where the hell am I? Certainly their approach to their craft has the same intensity. We can get through this. We all learned a lot from Bill. Although Bill was an outlaw comic from Houston, the Austin music community considered him one of their very own and their own personal spokesman. Bill inspired many young comedians in Austin and hopefully inspired all comedians not to be hacks, to have substance in their material, and to not just tell another dick joke. I think Bill influenced all the young Austin comedians. Although sometimes considered to be a bit outrageous, Bill was only speaking his mind and only saying what other people wanted to say, but didn't have the audacity which Bill possessed. After hearing Bill speak, one always left feeling a little more enlightened. Almost 2 years ago, I took some of Bill's inspiration and followed in his footsteps and quit cocaine and alcohol and cigarettes. Through our phone conversations, Bill helped me through to another chapter of my life, to a much saner existence. And for that, I owe Bill a lot. Bill inspired all of us, and we'll all miss him very much. Thanks for the laughs, and thanks for being the boy genius from Houston. People always want to hear Bill Hicks stories from me. They come down and want to hear about the wild, bad days. And I've got one of them I want to share with him. We been up for 2 or 3 days, and I had to go see my little brother Jimbo play golf, and so we had to get up to drive to Kilgore, Texas, because there wasn't any planes going that way. So it was about 5 in the morning, and I wasn't going to make it, obviously. So Bill got out the phone book and started looking at the charter services on Sunday morning, and sure enough, he found one. $650, you could charter an airplane to Kilgore, Texas, round trip. We just happened to have $650 laying around. So we called them up, and they said, meet us at the airport in 45 minutes. So we got on our leather jackets. It was July. Got our sunglasses out, filled up our Runkle Mints bottles, and put them in our jackets, and got our little 2-gram bottles here, and we were set to go to Kilgore. So here we are on the plane. The guy brought beer. It was amazing. I don't know. So I'm sitting in the back, just strolled out, and Bill's in the co-pilot seat like this, flying the plane with the co-pilot. Co-pilot's cool. Wear our sunglasses and yellow leather jackets. Bill says, hey, can I fly the plane a little? And the guy said, sure. So Bill takes the throttle like this, eases that plane over. Just, oh, it was cool. Hicks was flying, man. It was really good, you know. So we were flying along. He says, hey, can I move it over back to the left? Yeah, sure. Plane goes back over like that. Bill says to the pilot, can I do a loop-de-loop? And the guy goes, no. And that was it. Thank you very much, folks.
David Cotton. You think a man named Cotton would wear some fucking pants, huh? Don't you think? You know, I usually end the evening that way. I don't start off like I usually hadn't quit all his fucking bad habits. Years ago, Bill and I went to see a Richard Pryor concert movie, because all the young comics back then, and there was a time I was a young comic. It's hard to tell by these bags. But after the movie, we talked. We used to always go and see anything new comic was doing or any comedian was doing. And after watching that concert movie, Bill and I, that really blew Bill away. I mean, he kept talking about that for a long time, and we both agreed that was possibly the best stand-up comedy ever caught on film or tape to date. Well, this next clip came after that. This was in July 1989, only 5 years ago this month. Maybe some of you people were here because it was shot in this club on this stage. And I was very proud to be on that show with Bill Hicks. And I love this tape. I can watch it over and over and over again. And I even stopped laughing a long time ago. And I just get really misty because I know I'm watching the best doing what he does better than anybody alive. And it's this tape that shows Bill taking stand-up to another level. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Sane Man tape, right here in Austin, Texas, Bill Hicks. The best. The best. Was anybody here at that show, by the way? Yeah, right, you're at fucking Woodstock, too, yeah. And you were there when Willie Mays made the catch, too. I don't know what Bill would say if he found out his old friend, James Pineapple Esquire, is now engaged to Debbie Gibson. Hey, I'm not proud of it, but... Okay, ladies and gentlemen, another very good friend of Bill, and a good friend of mine, and a very, very funny comedian, and an Austin favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, T. Sean Shannon.
Thank you very much. It's a real treat to follow Bill Hicks. What a fucking pleasure that is. I'm gonna get some big chuckles up here after fucking Debbie Gibson getting raped by Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. I got a cute story about going to a yogurt store with Bill. But there was that place called I Can't Believe It Show. It's a funny one, it really is, yeah. I guess you would have had to have been there. So now, I did come to Austin once with Bill. It was a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We slept 4 hours, and I don't remember 1 minute of it, but it was like a really good time, and it was always fun hanging out with Bill. And he was like I was like the youngest guy hanging out at the workshop when I was in Houston, and Bill was always there. He was like the other young guy, which, yeah, great. So, but he was so funny. I remember once I was riding on the back of a car, these girls were leaving, and I was trying desperately to get laid. I was like 19, and I jumped on their hood with another comic. Real slick move. Johnny Romance I was, and I jumped on their hood, and they're driving real slow by the back porch, and Bill's out having a cocktail, and he just looked at me and goes, "Hey, T-Sean, showing your age." But he always said girls matured much faster than boys, because when he was in senior year in high school, he went to the record store with his girlfriend, and he bought Kiss Destroyer, and she bought Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. And he was like, oh, fuck. And he always, another funny thing, he always loved Elvis. And I don't know if you know this, he wrote a movie, the Elvis movie, which was hilarious. And reading this, it was like really disappointing. It was like I'm laughing out loud going, oh Christ, this guy's fucking amazing. What can't he do? And he wrote it, and he always had, and then his obsession with Elvis turned to an obsession with Charlie Hodge, who was the man who brought Elvis his scarves and water. Charlie Hodge, the man that brings my scarves and water. I was in Chicago watching Bill do a set, and the crowd hated him. And so he went on to a Charlie Hodge rant for at least 30 minutes. He's Charlie Hodge. Charlie, let's go camping. Scratch my balls, I got chiggers, Charlie. Oh, you're a hoot, Charlie. I really don't have chiggers. And he did this for 30 minutes, antagonizing the crowd as I was in the back crying. And then finally he started doing the crowd. What is he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. It was Charlie Hodge. He's the man that brings my scarves and water. And I nearly shat. But and lastly, I did get engaged this weekend, and I was talking to her. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I was talking to my girlfriend, and we decided our first child, we're going to name in memory of Bill, we're going to name him Raccoon. He liked raccoons? What the fuck? Where was I? All right, so now it's an interesting part, which I would have liked to follow more than Bill doing stand-up. It's Bill interviewed, which is always intriguing, and also when he was on 48 Hours practicing for his Letterman set. So that's what's going to be shown now. Thank you very much.
Around 13 years old, I guess, or a little before my first performance, I decided I wanted to. It was around there. I'd been interested in comedy and started to pay attention to comics, and then tried passing on jokes to friends as though I had just come up with them, you know, that I'd seen comics do the night before, which was really interesting because my friends would go, after I'd tell them a joke, a comic I saw last night, I'd do it like it was mine. And they'd go, wow, that's funny, but when'd you get married? Oh, I'm 13. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, I don't have a mother-in-law. So I would just go up in front of people, like at lunch, people would gather around you. One person, you know, would start laughing, and then more and more. And then pretty soon, there was a point where I had like 200 people in lunch class gathered around. And then after a football